Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the transit of Saturn in the Aquarius sign. So guys, although this video is coming out a little bit late, but just because I initially thought that I have already talked about this transit in brief, in short, at the time when I was talking on the yearly prediction videos, and I also covered briefly about Saturn's transit from the perspective of the D10 chart or the Arudha Lagna, and also its effect from your moon sign. But just because a lot many people have been asking me this thing, so I just thought that I can have one more video as well. And in this video, we will try to understand the comprehensive side or the impact of this transit of Saturn in the Aquarius for all the rising signs. So guys, as you know that when it comes down to understanding the transit of Saturn, so just because Saturn stays in one sign for around 2.5 years of time, so that means no matter whether you are going through the Saturn Salisati, Saturn Dahiya or not, whether you are currently going through the Saturn Dasha or not, this is definitely going to have an impact in your life. Now just because Saturn is the significator of justice, Saturn is the significator of profession, of karma for all of us. So definitely depending on Saturn's state, its dignity in your chart and your Lagna, you will definitely experience the impact of this transit of Saturn. So guys, at the end, before we will jump into the customized results, one thing which you have to pay attention is that no matter Saturn is going to be entering its Mool Trikona sign in the Aquarius, but just because Saturn has got additional aspects as well, and from the Aquarius, all the signs with Saturn aspect, because Saturn is going to be aspecting the Aries sign with its 3rd aspect, Leo sign with its 7th aspect, and Scorpio sign with its 10th aspect. So all these 3 aspects are going in the signs which are very inimical towards the planet Saturn. So one thing is for sure, that in which house Saturn is going to be transiting, Saturn is going to be in a state to give you some very good results. And nothing could be better than that if Saturn is going to be transiting in the angular houses in your natal chart. But when it comes down to the aspects, so specifically, although all the 3 aspects of Saturn somehow are the aspect of responsibilities, of pressure, of restraint, but in my research I have seen that the 10th aspect still hold this power to give you good results. 7th aspect can give you additional responsibilities, but along with the responsibilities, position and power can also be attained. But guys, when it comes down to the 3rd aspect, so this is the kind of view of majority of the astrologers that the 3rd aspect of Saturn is never considered as good. So once Saturn will enter the Aquarius sign, not only it is going to be giving its 3rd inimical aspect, restraining aspect to the Aries sign, which is a sign where Saturn goes debilitation, but also Rahu is already transiting over there. So no matter which Lagna you have, this transit of Saturn in the Aquarius will definitely make you prone and vulnerable in the areas of the Aries in whichever house it is going to be falling in. And yes guys, before we will jump into the customized results, like the way I have already mentioned this thing, that the impact of this transit of Saturn will become more important in your case if you are working, operating in the domain of the planet Saturn. Anything to do with the spirituality, with politics, with like if you are operating your business on a very massive scale, then this transit will become important for you. And definitely guys, if you are going through the Saturn Salisati, Saturn Dahiya, Saturn Mahadasha, Saturn Antardasha, then definitely this transit is going to be having a very strong impact in your life. So okay guys, now we will start our discussion customized to all the Lagnas. So starting first with the Aries Lagna natives. So guys, in your case, Saturn is going to be entering its Mool Trikona sign in your 11th house. So one thing is for sure, that whatsoever rewards or result of your hard work which has been impending for so long, that can be delivered during this time. So for all those people who are awaiting any promotion, any next level scaling up of your business, all of that can materialize during this time. So guys, if I were to summarize it, for anything to do with the enhancement of your reputation, and if you actually want to operate on a mass level, so for all of those aspiration, Saturn's transit will prove to be very profitable for you. Specifically, all those people who are connected with business or where mass support is an integral part of your line of work. Now guys, when we talk about Saturn's different aspect, so Saturn's third aspect is making you very vulnerable in the matters of your health, because Rahu is already transiting over there. And guys, try to understand this thing. With this entry of Saturn in the your 11th house, and its third aspect will give more power to Rahu. So in a way, you have to give heightened attention to your health. Now when I say health, so this could be while driving or while getting into any of the risky venture, too much of the threatful adventure. Over there you have to remain like attentive and cautious. Now guys, Saturn's 7th aspect is going to be influencing your 5th house. So guys, 5th house also tells about your mind, about your thought process. So if you are a kind of person who is completely rid of any sort of addiction, like you live your life in a very spiritual way, then this can actually make you very spiritual, very philosophical. You might start valuing your isolation, your me time. So for any of the self-discovery, soul elevation, this 7th aspect of Saturn in your 5th house will prove to be very beneficial for you. And I have already mentioned this thing, that you do not have a hedonistic lifestyle, only in those kind of situations. But guys, when we talk about anything to do with the regular education, like if during this time you have to write any competitive exam, you're going through your academic years and all of that, so then you have to remain very attentive, you have to scale up your preparation, you have to work very hard, because this aspect of Saturn coming to your 5th house can create obstacles, can create delays over there. And lastly guys, because Saturn is again going to be giving its 10th aspect to your like 8th house. So again guys, over here, like the way I have already mentioned this thing, that if you are a spiritually oriented person, and because Saturn is actually manifesting results from your 11th house, which is the ultimate house of your gains, of your income. So for any of the concerns of paternal property, any of the ongoing dispute and lawsuit, over there things can work out in your favor. But again guys, if 8th house has got a sudden unexpected fortune giving side, so 8th house is also very vulnerable, making us prone towards accidents or these kind of sudden allegations as well. So all these are the areas where you have to remain very cautious, very careful. So overall guys, summarizing this transit results for you, this is a very good transit for you for scaling up your aspiration, your line of work, enhancement of reputation, anything to do with your commercial gains. But when it comes down to your health, over there you have to remain very careful. Now guys, for all the Taurus Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, Saturn is a very auspicious, it's a Yogaraka planet for you guys. And after spending 2.5 years in your 9th house of luck and fortune, finally all the wisdom which Saturn has given you through practical life experiences, now it is going to be entering your 10th house, forming one of the Panch Mahapurush Yoga known as the Shash Yoga. So one thing is for sure guys, that for the attainment of position, power, additional responsibilities, and having a very good social life, regarding all that front, this is a very good and favorable transit for you. So specifically, if you have got any of the political aspiration, you are thinking about scaling up your business, or you are a strong contender for any top coveted position, so regarding all that front, this entry of Saturn is going to be very favorable for you. So guys, like the way I have already mentioned this thing, that this transit only has good things in store for you, for your professional life, for your public life. But when it comes down to your domestic life or your family life over there, because the additional aspect of Saturn, like the way I have already mentioned this thing at the beginning of this video, is always a matter of concern. And during this time, from the Aquarius, Saturn only look at the signs which are inimical towards it. So one thing is for sure, that if your current aspirations are aligned with overseas interest, overseas expansion, or too many overseas business trip, over there could be some like delays, obstacles, frustration, disappointments. So over there, like I would say that if any of your aspirations are aligned towards the overseas interest, or if you have to undertake any of the foreign travel, any of the documentation connected with your immigration related concerns, over there, the more careful, cautious, well planned and prepared you will be, the better it is going to be turning out for you. Because guys, what happens is that this third aspect of Saturn in your 12th house many times gives people aimless wandering. So whatsoever your aspirations are, your goals and your objectives are, it will be much more advisable to go with proper plan in your mind. Second thing is that guys, because Saturn is going to be giving its seventh aspect to your 4th house as well, so there could be some additional worries on the account of the well-being or the health of your mother. And overall guys, because even the 10th aspect is also coming to the 7th house, so there could be some disappointment with your matrimonial life, or there might be concerns of dissatisfaction, and all those people who are already going through some difficulties in their matrimonial life, so this can actually worsen things. So again guys, the only objective of watching these videos is that so that you can be well prepared and you know what is coming in store for you. So too much of the attention going only in your professional life might take a toll in your matrimonial life or in your domestic life as well. So only in these areas you have to remain cautious, careful. But ultimately guys, because it is going to be a Shash Yoga for you, Saturn is a Yogarka planet for you. So if in your natal chart you're going through some supportive dashas, so this can be a very golden period for you. This can be a very auspicious transit of Saturn for you, for all the Taurus Lagna natives. Now guys, for all the Gemini Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, finally the relief is that Saturn is going to be leaving your 8th house and it is going to be transiting to your 9th house. Trust me, if in the past 2.5 years you have not been subjected to big financial losses, or you have not received a lot of the health related concerns, so you should count your blessings. Because in the past couple of months I have received many consultation from Gemini Lagna, Leo Lagna, regarding the concerns of lawsuit, concerns of the health. So the good part over here is that finally all of these miseries are going to be a matter of the past. Now I do not know, ever since Saturn transited to your 8th house, I have been emphasizing on that a lot, that it is a very golden time for you to invest yourself in occult, in research. But yes guys, finally Saturn is going to be transiting to your 9th house, which will definitely be a relief for you. Because in any case, Saturn is a very favorable, auspicious planet for your Lagna. So one thing is for sure, that any of your aspiration which involves overseas interest, foreign travels, foreign settlement, or admission in your choice of university, or for long you have been thinking about going on a sabbatical and then updating your education, so all of that can happen during this time when Saturn will enter your 9th house. Now guys, from over here, Saturn is going to be giving its third aspect to your 11th house. So guys, just because the kind of role which Saturn plays in your case, and in your 11th house, Rahu is transiting over there. So both Rahu and Saturn are somehow very favorable planets for your Lagna. So Saturn is not going to be creating any hurdle in the free flow of the income, in the continuity of the flow of the income. But one thing is for sure, because from over here Saturn is going to be giving its third aspect to your 11th house and its seventh aspect to your third house. So this will actually create lot of rift in your friend circle, in your network circle. Like a lot many people will walk out of your life, and new association, new connection, new friendship will form during this time because of the aspect of the planet Saturn. So same is the case, guys, whether we talk about the third aspect coming to your 11th house or the seventh aspect going to your third house. And specifically, guys, in all those cases where you are living in a joint family, or you are responsible, accountable for the well-being of your brothers. Now this could be younger siblings, or this could be even in the case of elder siblings as well. So over there could be sudden increase in the responsibilities, and I would advise that try to balance out everything with proper caution, with proper care. Like if you are going to be very frivolous, very casual in the face of any family emergency, family responsibility, so you know that ultimately Saturn is a planet of separation, of grief, of disappointment, of problems. So if you will not take those responsibilities very seriously, it can actually create a rift within the harmony of the family life, or the relationship with you and your siblings. So that is one area where you have to remain cautious, careful. Now guys, when we talk about the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, which is going to be influencing your like 6th house. So guys, we know this thing that the 10th aspect of Saturn actually act as a judgment giving aspect. So when Saturn was transiting in your like 8th house, it was actually giving its 10th aspect to your 5th house, which was not a very harmonious sign for your education. But just because Saturn is also the karaka of the 6th house as well, so for win over, like winning any of the ongoing lawsuit, or for all those people who have to write any competitive exam, so in all those areas this 10th aspect of Saturn to your 6th house will actually act as a blessing in disguise. So guys, one thing is for sure, that because now Saturn is transiting in your 9th house, and 9th house is actually the house of luck. And trust me, Saturn is not as benevolent and as forgiving as planet Jupiter could be. So whatsoever hard work you have done in the past 2.5 years, whatsoever entitlement or like position or rewards which you deserve, so the result of all of your hard work can be delivered to you when Saturn is going to be transiting from your 9th house. And this can be a very golden time for all those people who are in any capacity. You are teaching people, you are training people, you are sharing wisdom with the people. So let's say for example, you are a motivational speaker, or you are a trainer, and you are catering to a small audience. So this entry of Saturn in your 9th house, and if your intentions are actually very righteous to uplift society, do something good, bring a change in other people's lives, so your number, your followership can suddenly go humongously high with this entry of Saturn in your 9th house. So overall guys, it's a very good transit for you, and if nothing more, at least you will find relief in any of the obstacles, any of the health related problem which you have been facing in the past 2.5 years. Now guys, for all the Cancer Lagna natives, so guys, for you, Saturn is going to be transiting to its Mool Trikona sign in your 8th house. Now which is going to have very strong positive and negative results attached to it. And guys, like the way I say this thing, that in astrology there is no such thing as negative. Negative events can only affect you if you have not aligned your energies in the direction which planet is asking you to do. And because Saturn is so unrelenting force, so in Saturn's case there is no scope of making any amendments. If you want to get benefited, you have to align your life in the direction which that planet is asking you to do. So guys, I am a very positive person. So first we will start with the positive side of this transit to your 8th house. So guys, one thing is for sure, that for all those people who are awaiting any of the attainment of your paternal property or any of the inheritance, this can be a very favorable transit for you. If you have invested yourself in research, in exploration, in scientific pursuit, like a lot many scientists have made their biggest of the discoveries when Saturn was transiting from their 8th house. So this can be a very golden time for you. And guys, when we talk about the spirituality, spiritual pursuit, like the time when all the yogis get enlightenment, they get the siddhiya, they get the powers. So this is actually a typical yoga, because Saturn is not only transiting your 8th house, but also it is going to be looking at your 5th house with its 10th aspect. So all sort of attainment of mantra, shaktiya, siddhiya, power, all of that can work out in your favor. Now guys, another positive aspect is that, see, for all those people who are connected with business, so, and specifically if in your line of work you are in any of the partnership nature of work, so this will definitely strengthen your bonds with your partners, and also this can also strengthen your brand identity in the eyes of the public as well. So even for people connected with business, or for any of the commercial gain perspective as well, this is a very good transit. Like rather, I would say guys that even if you are an author, you are a writer, before starting to work, like do some meditation, try to invoke goddess Saraswati, ask for the blessings from the planet Saturn to inspire you to write something which has not been explored or which is completely untapped. So if you are in all those fields, this transit of Saturn in your 8th house will prove to be very favorable for you. Now guys, comes the vulnerable part. So because guys, from over here, one thing is for sure, that Saturn is making you very vulnerable on the account of your health. See guys, when Saturn was transiting in your 7th house, from the past 2.5 years, it was still forming the one of the Panch Mahapurush Yoga known as the Shash Yoga. And Saturn's strong dignity in the 7th house can give you strong bond with your partner as well. Like I came across lot many charts where people got married during that time. A lot many people started or they ventured out into businesses. So for all those pursuit, when Saturn was transiting in the 7th house in the Capricorn, that was still a favorable time for all the Cancer Lagna. But now because Saturn has transited to your 8th house, so health is strongly coming in radar. Second thing is that guys, because from over here, Saturn is going to be giving its 3rd aspect to your 10th house, which is again not a very good sign. I've already mentioned this thing. Rahu is already transiting in your 10th house, and Saturn's 3rd aspect, out of all the 3 aspects of the planet Saturn, 3rd, 7th and 10th, 3rd aspect is always the most problem and difficulty causing. So if you are in that line of work where you have to deal with the top bureaucracy, politically connected people, or you keep on having issues with your bosses, so this 3rd aspect of Saturn can actually create obstacles over there. So you have to remain very cautious, very careful with your terms with the authority figures. And also guys, I would say that if you have been awaiting job promotion or next level promotion, so remain very realistic. Like if you are a kind of person who is very impatient and you are very quick to act, like okay, I have been a very deserving candidate for this position or this promotion, and every single time my name has been dropped from the list, so I'm going to put down my papers. So do not work with this mindset, because Saturn's 3rd aspect will definitely create delays in all these things. So Saturn might have something very good in store for you. So try to remain very kind of calculative in all these areas. Second thing is that guys, because Saturn is going to be giving its straight aspect to your 2nd house as well. So a lot many Cancer Lagna natives might find it difficult to save money. And if you're already going through issues within your immediate family members, so guys, try to understand the difference between the domestic life, which we say from the 4th house or the 2nd house. So 4th house tells about that I'm living in Canada, so my environment is more surrounded by people who are close to me over here. 2nd house tells about your paternal uncle, your aunts and your immediate family members. So if you're already having issues within the joint family or within the family circle. So this transit of Saturn in your 8th house and straight aspect to your 2nd house can make things more bitter. So over there you have to remain cautious, careful. Now guys, when we talk about the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, which will be looking at your 5th house, so definitely pertaining to the health of your gut, of your stomach, you have to remain very cautious, very careful. When we talk about a 5th house, which tells about our mind, the way our mind function, so a lot many Cancer Lagna people will act very philosophically, or you will be in this mindset that you will value isolation, being aloof, being in this mode of self introspection. So a lot many Cancer Lagna people will act out like that. And definitely if in your lifestyle you prioritize spirituality, doing yoga, doing meditation, so this can be a very blessed time for you. Guys, when we talk about the people who are going through their academics and their studies, so over there it is a straight give and take kind of combination, that if you are working hard, so Saturn, because with its 10th aspect, many times I have seen people getting benefited. So if you're working hard and the overall yogas in your chart are supportive, then this can actually give you admission in the choice of the college, or good grades as well, good performance in any of the exams which you will write during this time. So yes guys, this is how the overall planetary transit of Saturn in your 8th house is going to be influencing you. At the end, one thing which I want to mention over here, all the remedies and the upayas and the totkas which we do, it might not have worked for you in the past. I do not know whether it will work for you in the future. But when planets are transiting from the 8th house, all these esoteric remedies, they work out to a great extent. Like guys, okay, I do not wanted to mention this kind of a controversial thing which is going around right now in media, where there is a very respectable religious preacher in India who is being put on a media trial for the authenticity. So I just have one thing to say, that when we talk about the power of blessings, when we talk about the credibility of all these faith healers, you cannot test them like the way you're gonna test a magician, that how secretly you're gonna pull out a rabbit from a hat. So the power of blessings work, and they surround you, they protect you in a very unconscious way. So that's the only one thing which I want to say, that doing all the upayas, following all the rituals. So let's say for example, if in your case not only Saturn is going from your 8th house, I'm here talking about more from your Lagna. Let's say for example, if you're also going through some sensitive dasha as well, like Saturn is also active in the dasha, and along with that your moon sign is also Aquarius, so that means or your moon sign is Pisces, so that means you're also going through Sade Sati as well. So I would say that doing the Mahamrityunjaya mantra japa, or getting the Rudrabhisheka done, so all these rituals will also prove to be like a medicine for all of you guys. Guys, I still remember, because whenever planet transit, the starting first few days, the impact tend to remain very strong. So I still remember, because for me, for my Lagna, Saturn transited to the 11th house. So within that week only, I booked a very good commercial audition. And my sister, she's a Cancer Lagna. That was the same time when she has got some infection in the stomach, and she was advised the bed rest. So this is how planets influence us. So yes guys, I would say that karma alignment becomes very important. In your case, when Saturn was transiting in your 7th house, it was still beneficial for your matrimonial life, for your commercial success. Now with this entry of Saturn in your 8th house, it is kind of making you vulnerable more in the areas of your health, and while dealing with the authority figures, or for the attainment of promotion or progress in your job. So doing remedies, worship of Lord Shiva, and fasting, doing voluntary work on Saturdays will become all-time important for all the Cancer Lagna natives. Now guys, for all the Leo Lagna natives, So guys, in your case, as you can see that Saturn is going to be now transiting to your 7th house. It is going to be forming the one of the Panch Mahapurush Yoga known as the Shash Yoga. So one thing is for sure guys, that for the enhancement of the reputation, for all those people who were before finding it difficult to find a partner for yourself, to get married, so all the obstacles in the path of getting into a matrimonial life will get removed with this entry of Saturn in your 7th house. So guys, for the commercial gain perspective, enhancement of the reputation, enhancement of your product's brand image, or your grip and your authority, your command in the eyes of the world, regarding all that front, this entry of Saturn in your 7th house will prove to be very favorable. Now guys, from over here, now if you have to take into consideration the additional aspects of the planet Saturn, so Saturn is going to be first looking at your 9th house with its 3rd aspect. So now guys, as you know that the relationship between the Saturn and the Rahu and how they look towards your ascendant lord Sun. So because this 3rd aspect of Saturn to its sign of debilitation where Rahu is transiting is only going to give more power to the Rahu, and it will only activate the malefic side of Rahu. So one thing is for sure, that the kind of people you take advice from will become very important during this time. Do not leave anything on the luck. If you are in a process of immigration, or because of your line of work, nature of work, you have to consistently keep on going for business related international trip. So over there you have to remain very cautious, you have to remain very careful. Now guys, and also one more thing, because see, your stars will favor more to the people around you. Second thing is that guys, because Saturn is going to be giving its 7th aspect to your Lagna, so specific to your health related concerns, whenever your ascendant lord Sun is going to be weak in the transit, like when it is going to be debilitated, or when it is going to be transiting from the Dushtana Bhava, over during that time you have to remain very cautious, very careful in the matters of your health. And also guys, because Saturn is going to be giving its 10th aspect to your 4th house, so guys, over here, because when it comes down to the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, I'm kind of very biased towards that, because I have seen the 10th aspect of the Saturn giving good results, manifesting good results. So again guys, this is actually a aspect which can bring stability, some big investments, attainment of like properties, and all these things. So regarding that front, it is favorable. So guys, the only one area of your life which is getting vulnerable with this entry of Saturn in your 7th house is the 9th house, and specifically time period till the end of October, when Rahu is transiting in your 9th house. So just remain cautious and careful of the picking up the right set of advisors, and give attention to your health. And for people who are like planning to get married, or in past there has been some issues within the matrimonial life, so all those issues will get resolved, and some good success in your commercial endeavors is on the cards for all the Leo Lagna natives. Now guys, for all the Virgo Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, Saturn becomes a very auspicious planet for you, and it is going to be entering its Mool Trikona sign in your 6th house. So one thing is for sure, that all the matters of the 5th house and the 6th house will start working out in your favor. So for all those people who have to write any competitive exam during this period, when Saturn is transiting from your 6th house, like time period till March 29th of 2025, it's a very good indication for you. So for all those people who are planning to expand their family, for planning the child, this can be a very auspicious time for you. And also guys, this entry of Saturn in your 6th house will definitely bring a stability in your daily life. Like if you think that your life is very haphazard, there is no routine, or you are operating a business but there is no structure in your business, in your line of work, in the operations, in the supply chain, so you will be able to give right set of structure to your execution of your business. Second thing is that guys, when we talk about any of the concerns of lawsuit as well, like whether you are professionally connected with the fields of the sixth house. When we talk about service industry, medical industry, health industry, judiciary, so all those people will get benefited. But along with that, guys, this is a very good time for being in any of the competitive situation and performing good. Now guys, when we talk about the vulnerable side of this transit, so from over here, Saturn is going to be giving its third aspect to your 8th house and giving its straight aspect to your 12th house and its 10th aspect to your 3rd house. So this is a kind of a typical combination where your money will be spent on people around you. Like lot of the time and money and attention will go in pleasing people around you. So guys, I'm using my words very carefully. So you might be giving your undivided attention. Even after that, people might not be very happy with that. And when we talk about any of the concerns of foreign travel, overseas interest, regarding that front, this can still be seen as a favorable time, because all the majority of the houses which Saturn is influencing, Saturn is also a karaka of those houses as well. So for any of the overseas interest, this can be a very good time for you. Now guys, when we talk about the matters of the health, so over there, like any of the concerns of stomach or like sugar, arthritis, or reproductive organs, over there you have to remain a little bit cautious, because Saturn is going to be giving its third aspect to your 8th house. And if you will try to understand the whole chemistry, like all the major important planets, whether we talk about Saturn, Rahu, which is right now transiting in your 8th house, then it will transit back to your 7th house, and Jupiter is in the 7th house, it will move to your 8th house. So all these planets are only influencing the lower body parts of yours. So if there is any of the concerns of stomach, so I would say give heightened attention to that. So yes guys, this is how this transit is going to be influencing you. So it's a good transit pertaining to the matters of the bringing that structure in your life, performing good in any of the competitive situation. And I would say that a lot many service professionals will get the due recognition for all of their hard work, and if your ongoing dashas are also running favorable or supportive, so new position, promotion can also be foreseen with this entry of Saturn in your 6th house. So overall guys, it's a good transit for all the Virgo Lagna natives. Now guys, for all the Libra Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, Saturn is going to be transiting to its Mool Trikona sign in your 5th house, which can be seen as a very good sign. Guys, in any case, Saturn is a very favorable, it's a Yokarka planet for your rising sign. So one thing is for sure, that if your aspirations are currently aligned towards education, like education in foreign university, in foreign land, or foreign languages, technology, so in all these fields or areas, people can get some very good success. Second thing is that guys, I would say that specifically if you're working in a domain where specialization is a concern, or being innovative, being first in your field, or doing something which the world has not seen before, or even any of the concerns of the mass support, like when we talk about you are working on that creative idea and the release of your work is aligned in the time when Saturn is transiting from your 5th house, can actually give you the mass support which your work needs. So regarding all that front, it is going to be a very good transit for you. So guys, because 5th house has got a lot to do with the when we talk about wisdom, we talk about knowledge, and somehow, see guys, whenever the karmic planets, they transit from the 5th house, they hold this key to unravel the talents of your past life as well. So this is going to be a very favorable transit, specifically in the pursuit of or in the acquisition of knowledge, wisdom, skill, funding, sponsorship. So regarding all that front, it is going to be a very favorable transit. Second thing is that because Saturn actually in whichever house it transit, it gives us something very lifelong, very long-term gifts or fruits pertaining to that house. So definitely for all those people who are like you are in a relationship and now you want to take next step or you want to tie the knot with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend, this is going to be a very good time. Or getting into your choice of dream college, it is a very good time. For all those people who have been for long, have been trying for family expansion, for a child. So regarding that front as well, this entry of Saturn in your 5th house will support that as well. And beyond doubt, all those people who have completely dedicated or devoted their life towards the spiritual path or for doing any voluntary work. So guys, this is kind of a typical yoga where all those people who are doing something very good on the lines of humanitarianism. So this is a time when people get rewarded. All of their hard work which has not come to public's eye before generally and suddenly come to everyone's attention and they get rewarded for all of that. So regarding all that front, it's a very good time. Now comes the vulnerable aspect. So guys, from over here, Saturn is going to be giving its third aspect to your 7th house where Rahu is already transiting over there. So one thing is for sure that this can actually create a lot of misunderstanding within your matrimonial life. And if in your natal chart, your 7th house is already afflicted, so this is going to be a very grave or major area of concern within the matrimonial life. Now from over here guys, Saturn is going to be looking at both of the houses of your income, of your saving. So one thing is for sure that Libra Lagna natives might suddenly find a decline in their income. Now guys, again, this is where the karma alignment comes. So now if you are actually not very much satisfied the way your business is going or the way your career is progressing, so this could be a very advisable thing to consider a sabbatical or update your education, update your skill, take any online courses, or if you want to even consider or you're contemplating in some alternative courses as well, which can give you some side hustle, some side income. So all of that can be considered. But yes guys, one thing is for sure that with this two aspects coming in to your houses of income and saving, Saturn is only demanding one thing, that I want you to right now focus more on increasing your awareness, increasing your intellectual and your mental aptitude rather than just going haywire in the acquisition of more wealth and more money. So yes guys, and when we talk about your association and your very deeply nurtured values and your philosophies, over there as well there could be some transition, like suddenly you find yourself resonating more towards different ideologies, different philosophies. Because guys, when we talk about the 2nd house and 11th house tells about our groups we associate, and 2nd house tells about our closely nurtured virtues and values. So because Saturn is going to be aspecting both these two houses, so it can actually bring a transition, bring a change over there, because during this time Saturn is only aspecting the signs which are very inimical towards it. So giving you that second opinion, creating this sort of disbelief in your already nurtured opinions and values can manifest in the cases of many Libra Lagna natives. So yes guys, when it comes down to investing in your knowledge, in your training, in your education, or reaping the reward of all the good deeds you have done in the past, regarding all that front, it is a very good transit for you. It is only making you vulnerable in the matters of your matrimonial life, your income and your savings, which needs to be taken very seriously. Now guys, for all the Scorpio Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, Saturn is going to be transiting to its Mool Trikona sign in your 4th house, which is going to be forming the Panch Mahapurush Yoga known as the Shash Yoga. So one thing is for sure guys, that a lot many Scorpio Lagna people will be in a state, in a capacity to buy land or invest in property during this time, and nothing could be more favorable if you are a professional realtor. So guys, this is a kind of a typical yoga where, being an astrologer, I will recommend that, see, when we talk about spending on luxurious things and all of that, that is a kind of a expenditure. But when we talk about investing in land and property, specifically the kind of yoga now which is getting formed in your case, this will only give you some very good return on investment. Second thing is that, because guys, when we talk about the role which Saturn plays in your Lagna, Saturn is not kind of a inauspicious planet for you. So because of which, I would say that any of the areas of your life, like guys, when we talk about stability, I generally see stability from the 4th house, like any of the domestic matters, like this could be getting married, childbirth, or buying your first property, settling down somewhere in a field, starting your first business. So all those things, Saturn will be in a position, in a capacity to bestow all those things in your life. So a lot many Scorpio Lagna people, if they have been experiencing instability in their life, stability will come. Second thing is that guys, even change of residence will prove to be fruitful during this time, because the good part over here is that whichever house you will shift, or even if you will contemplate like migrating to a new place, to a new country, chances are going to be strong that any of the transition decision taken during this time, you will stabilize in that new place for a long time. So regarding all that front, it's a very auspicious, favorable transit for you. Now comes the vulnerable aspect. So guys, try to understand this thing. Saturn is going to be giving all of its aspects to the sign which it is inimical towards. So Saturn is going to be giving its 3rd aspect to your 6th house, 7th aspect to your 10th house, and 10th aspect to your 1st house. So one thing is for sure, that whatsoever you will attain during this time, specifically professionally, that can only be gained through fighting, through struggle, and through showing proper resistance or demonstrating that fighting spirit. So this is a kind of a typical yoga where enemies will keep on getting formed, and you will be keep on destroying those enemies as well. So if you are in that mindset that, okay, if I will take this right decision, it is going to offend so many people, so let me step back. So this approach and this attitude will not work for you. So showcasing that sort of fighting spirit only will give you the kind of due recognition or a due position which you deserve. So if any of the situation arise at your work front where a new position, new responsibility looks like to be very threatful on surface, but trust me, jumping into it, doing your job with complete integrity will actually pave path towards your success. That is the only one thing which I want to say. So guys, whether you are a professional lawyer or you are going through lawsuit, so all those people can actually get benefited. Also guys, I would say that because Saturn is the Karaka of the 6th house, so with its 3rd aspect, whichever house Saturn looks at with resentment, with disgust, or with a dislike. Dislike is the right word, ignore all the other words which I used. So Saturn will definitely try to destroy all the entities of the 6th house, from where we generally see competition, from where we generally see enemies. But yes guys, when we talk about the concerns of the health, over there you have to remain cautious, careful, because Saturn is also going to be aspecting your 1st house as well. So specifically here we are talking about those kind of decisions, like you are driving and you are not very careful, or any of the concerns of drink and drive, or any sort of impulsive actions, reckless action. So this transit is asking you to be strong, to be resilient, but it is not asking you to become headstrong or to become reckless. So there is a difference, and there is a thin line between that. So yes guys, overall Saturn actually gains a lot of strength whenever it is transiting in such a position, and because in your case Saturn has got the rulership of your 3rd house as well, the house of your courage, house of your valor. So I would say that this is going to be a time where no matter which area of your life is facing instability, Saturn will grant you that sort of stability. And my word of advice to all the Scorpio Lagna is that even if you have to cut down your expenses in so many different avenues or areas of the life, but save up good amount of money to invest in land and property, because this is going to be a very golden time for taking that decision. Now guys, for all these Sagittarius Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, Saturn is going to be transiting its Mool Trikona sign in your third house, which is going to be carrying very mixed results. So guys, one thing is for sure, that if you're connected with the fields of technology, scientific pursuit, or you are going to be a pioneer in your chosen field, and you are awaiting any sort of sponsorship or funding, or you are going to be venturing out into something new, and you are planning your debut during this time when Saturn is going to be transiting in your third house until March 29th, 2025. So Saturn can actually give you right set of platform. Now again guys, when we talk about Saturn, it's your own preparation, it's your own hard work, your own sweat which matters. So if you have done your job well, Saturn will give you platform. After that, it's your only hard work which will push you towards success or failure. But one thing is for sure, that for all those people who are awaiting any sort of sponsorship, funding, investments and all of that, this is going to be a very favorable time for you. Now guys, the vulnerable part generally comes because, see, in your case, both Saturn and Rahu are not very auspicious planet for you guys. So if you're a kind of person, you try to help people around you unconditionally, then it's fine. But if you expect people to respect all of your small gestures, or you want people to reciprocate with equal measure of kindness to any of your good deed, any of your help offered to people around you, so you might get a little bit disappointed. So this is going to be a typical transit where people around you, now this could be your friends, this could be your immediate family, your colleagues, a lot of your time, your energy, your money will be spent in catering to the needs of the people around you, and they might not be very grateful or thankful to the help which you will offer to these people. Second thing is that guys, when we talk about the additional aspects of the planet Saturn, so from over here Saturn is going to be looking at all the houses, all the signs which are inimical towards it. And I have already mentioned this thing, for your Lagna, both Saturn and Rahu are not very auspicious planet for you. So with its third aspect, Saturn can actually create obstructions or delays for the students, or I would say that for all those people who are planning a child during this time. So you have to give heightened attention to the well-being, get all the tests done. And with its 7th aspect and 10th aspect, Saturn is going to be looking at your 9th house and the 12th house. So if in your line of work you have to take very frequent business related international trip, or during this time, because guys, Saturn is going to be looking at both your 5th house and the 9th house. So whether your concerns are around getting admission in a college within your city, or whether you are aspiring for admission in any of the international university, so during this time you have to do your job carefully. Any of the frivolous casual approach might not work for you. And also guys, because Saturn is going to be looking at the 12th house as well, so again I only have one thing to say, that this can give a lot of the aimless wandering. So do your job well, be well prepared whenever you are venturing out into something which is completely unknown to you or unexplored by you. One thing is for sure guys, because Saturn is going to be giving its aspect to your 5th house as well. So for all those people who are working in the domain of technology, you want to be a pioneer like the way I already mentioned, or you are very much philosophical, very spiritually oriented, so those people can get benefited. So yes guys, this is how the transit of Saturn to your 3rd house is going to be influencing you. Now guys, for all the Capricorn Lagna natives, So guys, in your case, Saturn becomes your ascendant lord. So in whichever house the ascendant lord goes, our whole focus goes in the matters of that house, and ascendant lord only has good in store for us. So one thing is for sure guys, that see, even when Saturn was transiting in your first house, it was not making you vulnerable. Like rather I would say that it might have delayed the concerns of job promotion or the kind of titles which you deserve, but it would have actually given you some very deep philosophical life experiences. It must have made you very wise, and you must have gone through a lot of churning up or lot of self introspection. But now guys, Saturn, your ascendant lord, is going to be transiting to your second house, which can be seen as a very good sign. Specifically, all the hard work, all the struggle which you have done in the past, the result of that will manifest in the form of increase in your income. So guys, for the concerns of the long awaited job promotion, increase in the income, or I would also say that if you are in that capacity to scale up your business, so you can consider doing that as well. So pertaining to the matters of the increase in income, increase in reputation, or specifically when I say increase in reputation, so if you are engaged or any level, like on a community level, on a national level, or in whichsoever level you are doing lot of charity, lot of voluntary work, so the result of that, the outcome of that can actually come during this time when Saturn is going to be transiting from your second house. Now guys, the only vulnerable aspect is that when we talk about the immediate family members, so over there could be high expectation which might be attached to you, where people within your vicinity, within your immediate family circle might not be very happy with you. That's the one thing. Second thing is that guys, when we talk about the additional aspects of the planet Saturn, so no matter whether Saturn is your ascendant lord or not, third aspect of Saturn is always a matter of concern. And over here, because it is going to be looking at its sign of debilitation, and Rahu is already transiting over there, so there could be some concerns on the account of the worries on the health of the mother, or there could be like it is not a very auspicious time for the purchase of land or property, or if you are a professional realtor. So I would say that if you are finding any obstacles, so like even you can consider wearing a blue sapphire if your moon sign and the overall chart supports it. Worship of Lord Hanuman will also become very favorable for you. And I would say that if investing in land, property, real estate is kind of very important for you, so undertake those decisions at the right time of muhurta, after getting your chart scrutinized or after taking advice from an expert astrologer. Apart from that guys, Saturn is going to be looking at your 8th house as well with its 7th aspect. So I'm not seeing you guys vulnerable, like because from its aspect, Saturn is only going to give more like age or protecting any harm to your well-being, to your age only. So I'm not seeing you guys vulnerable. Rather, I would say that for all those people who are invested in research, in occult subjects, or your profession, your livelihood is connected with insurance, with revenue, all those people can also get benefited. And also guys, when we talk about the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, which is going to be looking at your 11th house, which has got a lot to do with the large group networks, which has to do with the popularity and awards. So that is the only reason I mentioned this thing, that whatsoever you have been doing or working hard from the past couple of years, the result of that can manifest during this time, because the 10th aspect of Saturn tend to remain very judgment giving. So increase in reputation, increase in income, and because second house also tells about our virtues, about our values as well. So protecting your belief, being very firm on your opinions, and even when you will talk, so the moment you will open your mouth, people will actually experience that sort of wisdom coming out from it, and someone who has actually experienced life, someone who is going to be talking very insightful, very deeply layered talks. So that is how you will influence people around you. So overall guys, it is going to be a very favorable transit for all the Capricorn Lagna natives, only in the matters of the property, and not being able to satisfy your immediate circle of people or your family members. These are the only two areas where you have to remain little bit watchful. Now guys, for all the Aquarius Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, Saturn is your ascendant lord, and Saturn is going to be transiting its own Mool Trikona sign in your first house after so many years, and it is going to be forming one of the Panch Mahapurush Yoga known as the Shash Yoga. So one thing is for sure, that this transit of Saturn will make you very deeply self-introspective. Second thing is that, guys, one thing is for sure, that in the next 2.5 years, depending on the kind of dashas are currently operating in your life, like whether your dasha for the next 2.5 years is promising very harmonious time or a time of struggle, but Saturn will ensure that you will derive or extract the right set of learning or right set of moral out of all those vicissitudes, out of all those struggle which you will go through in the next 2.5 years. And guys, like the way I was mentioning this thing, that when Saturn was transiting in your 12th house, so all the hard work, all the struggle, all of our efforts many times are not able to reap the right set of recognition and visibility when that planet is transiting in the 12th house. So yes, all the hard work which you have been doing from the past 2.5 years, the result of that will start coming in once Saturn will transit to your first house. Also guys, if you are operating on a domain where technology is involved, mass support is involved, so over there this entry of Saturn in your first house will definitely benefit you. Now it hardly matters whether you are an entrepreneur, you are looking forward to scaling up your business, you are waiting for sponsorship, funding, investment, or you are a politically enthusiast person who wants to make any of your political ideologies reach to the nook and cranny of the society. So in whichever way, if you want to influence people and world on a mass level, this entry of Saturn in your first house will definitely give you the right set of platform. But guys, like the way I always say this thing, see, Saturn is not a planet which function same way like Jupiter function. Saturn can actually give you platform depending on your hard work, depending on your intention. Whatsoever you will deliver, you will get the result of that. But one thing is for sure, Saturn is going to be in a capacity to provide you the right set of platform to give your voice to the world or demonstrate your talents to the world. So guys, this transit has got more to do with giving you the or delivering you the result of the past for sure, giving you the platform in the present for sure. But when we talk about the material or the public life of yours, so over there the additional aspects of the planet Saturn might create a lot of problems for you, because whenever Saturn is transiting in the Aquarius, all the three aspects goes to the signs or the houses which are very inimical towards it. So with its third aspect, do not put your blind faith in the support or help of the people around you, otherwise you might get disappointed at the last minute. Saturn's seventh aspect in your seventh house is demanding lot of attention, responsibilities, and caution in the areas of your matrimonial life. Any casual, frivolous approach might give problems over there. And guys, Saturn's 10th aspect to your 10th house can also create those sort of energy, because over there you can find the Scorpio energy. So people whom you see as your colleagues, as your friend, they secretly might be competing with you. They might not be very happy with your success. So this is how energy will manifest for you. So one thing is for sure, guys, this transit will deliver you the result of the past for sure. It will make you very philosophical. It will encourage you for doing something innovative, doing something which is very philanthropic in nature. And yes, within your material life or your public dealing, do not blindly trust on people around you. That is all what I have to say for all the Aquarius Lagna natives. And guys, for all the Pisces Lagna natives, Saturn is going to be entering its Mool Trikona sign in your 12th house. Now guys, in your case, Saturn plays a very distinctive role because Saturn has got the rulership of both the houses of your income and the losses. Now try to understand this thing. It hardly matters whether Saturn is active right now in your dasha or not, whether your profession is aligned with the matters of the 6th house or 3rd house or the 8th house, but ultimately when we talk about the result of all of our efforts, all of our actions, all of our professional endeavors, that is somehow is being governed and controlled by Saturn. And just because in your case, Saturn has got the rulership of your house of gains as well. And right now in the transit, your house of losses is in a very potent state. So how you will align your energies, how you will channelize your energies that you want to get benefited at the same time, taking your 12th house in sync with it, in harmony with it, becomes very important. So doing consistent charity till the time when Saturn is transiting from your 12th house will become very important. Now guys, definitely when we talk about the general results, so if your aspirations are somehow aligned with the matters of the 12th house, that when we talk about import export nature of work, or immigrating to a new country, starting your life in a new country, admission in a foreign university, or any of the concerns of soul elevation, spirituality, research, exploration, all those people will definitely get benefited during this time. Second thing is that guys, I would say that whatsoever work you are doing, do it very unconditionally. Like have that faith in the universe, that universe has something good in store for you. Have trust in the divine timing, and if you will operate with this mindset, definitely this entry of Saturn in your 12th house can benefit you as well. Because guys, I've seen the charts of lot many yogis, and see guys, when we talk about all those actions, like where people have those sudden epiphanies, realization, awakenings, they were getting that inner voice, that calling, but they were ignoring it. But the moment Saturn transited from the 12th house, or with its aspect, it started influencing their 12th house, they took that call. And yes guys, this is how generally the researchers and innovators, they behave. Like just on that vague hope, they tread on a path which is completely foreign to them, which is completely unknown to them, something which is completely unexplored. So this is going to be a time when having that faith in the universe and treading that path. So guys, yes, and specifically even when we talk about the path of spirituality, so rather than making a display of it, getting into that pomp and show, it will be much advisable to finding that kind of nectar of knowledge in isolation. Valuing your me time will become very important, and specifically all those people in whose case pilgrimages, staying in ashram or spiritual retreat or overseas travel is an integral part of your aspirations, of your livelihood, all those people will definitely get benefited. But guys, the ultimate objective and the knowledge of astrology is how you align your energies in sync with the planetary vibration. So in your case, in transit, your income house is getting weak and your expenses house is getting strong. And not only that guys, because even with its third aspect, Saturn is going to be looking at your second house of income as well. So a lot many Pisces Lagna natives might find it difficult to save money during this time. So if universe is hard bent on making you lose out on your energy, on your time, on your money, so it will be much advisable to do it or direct it for the right just causes and reasons. And guys, from over here, Saturn is going to be giving its aspect to your 6th house and to your 9th house as well. So yes guys, I would say that for winning over any of the lawsuit, because again guys, when we talk about the aspect of the planet Saturn, it is looking at the signs which are inimical towards it. And whenever a planet looks at any house or sign with a aspect or a site of enmity, it definitely tries to harm that. So in a way, Saturn is trying to harm all of your enemies. Any of the concerns of diseases, prolonged health related issues can also be removed when Saturn is going to be entering your 12th house. And also guys, with its aspect to your 9th house, one thing is for sure, people who are like aspiring for training, motivation, teaching, foreign travels, immigration related concerns, all those people will definitely get benefited with this strengthened state of Saturn in your 12th house. But in a nutshell guys, I would say that for doing yoga, doing meditation, recognizing, identifying your inner voice, remaining very much attuned with the guidance and directions you are getting in any of the prophetic dreams will become very important when Saturn is going to be transiting from your 12th house. So this is something guys which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyawad.